Now flooding around downtown Issaquah as people filling sandbags to fight the rising water. KOMO's Theron's on live in Issaquah with the situation right now. And Theron, just a soaker out there. I can barely see you with the camera.
Yeah, it's very wet out here. Take a look. You can see they got the water here that's flowing down Front Street. That's why Front Street is closed. That water taking a turn there over a dogwood and heading northbound. And again, the road's shut down. This is a big commute route for a lot of people. I want to show you where that water is heading. It's heading down toward that apartment building down there. And you can see some of the folks that are up early this morning monitoring those sandbags, the sandbags that they have packed up there right in front of their homes to keep the water at bay. The water on Issaquah Creek has been rising all night. The city is helping people fighting the floodwaters by dropping off and filling sandbags. The highest water is supposed to hit this morning, but that forecast could change. Right now, city workers are expecting a flood like the one in 2020. That year, Issaquah Creek hit phase 4. For people who fear their homes will be filled with water, it's been a very long night.
So what's happened here is that the creek has jumped up on Dogwood, which is about a half a mile away, and is being diverted down Dogwood and then running into Front Street. And as you can see, then you hit the hump in the road by Dairygold, and then it needs a place to go. So we've created a channel. We're sandbagging like mad. Been doing that all day, pretty much.
The city says they are ready to deliver more sandbags if you need them. And anyone facing flooding around Issaquah can pick up sandbags at the Issaquah Community Center. And if your commute takes you down Front Street, you need to know it's closed until further notice. Cool. Now, back out here live, you can see again those sandbags that you just saw. The folks around here trying to put up as feverishly as possible. We actually saw some folks out here just now. There's a woman over there. She appears to be working to readjust those sandbags to keep that water out. It's so close to their homes right now with that creek cresting at some point today. They're hoping the water will go down, but no one's going to let their guard down into that water as well within the banks of the creek. But it could be a very long day here in Issaquah.
All right. In Kent, several roads are closed there this morning because of water over the roadway. The city says it is warning drivers to be ready to turn around if they encounter high water.
Major breaking news out of Snoqualmie Pass right now. This is an evening update that just came down. This is going to impact a lot of people. They've just announced that they're going to keep the pass shut down on I-90 through Sunday at least. And that's because, as you can clearly see here, this is a shot that they sent out just a short time ago. How much hasn't been plowed and how many dangers there are that are along this roadway that could possibly strand people and keep people really not being able to get where they need to go. So they want to, keep that from happening. And so they've kept it shut down at least until Sunday. This was just put out, so this is going to impact a lot of people. Meantime, a quick live shot out of Renton.
This has that part of the story.
Right, I'm in Renton on State Route 169, Maple Valley Highway, and look across the street from where I am. The whole north side of Maple Valley Highway, across this section in Renton anyway, is nothing but a cliff and a hillside there, and you can kind of see some leaning trees, some mud that came down. This landslide came down last night. Crews were able to get it all cleaned up. There's just been too much rain, too fast, and the rain, of course, falling on top of melting snow that we've had over the past 10 days, certainly spelling disaster in a lot of areas. The tree trunks, boulders, tons of mud just came tumbling down the cliff along this stretch of the highway. After the initial spill that covered the entire row, crews were out here trying to make sure that the rest of the hillside was not going to come down, though they did hear trees splitting and falling as they were trying to clear the mess across the road.
The real story is the inconvenience for mothers, fathers, people going to meetings and appointments and stuff.
The rain does make it a lot harder to get around when there is flooding or there is a landslide like this. Take a look at the hillside that came down on State Route 108 at milepost 5 in Grays Harbor County. The water's high all throughout sections of both Hoquiam, Aberdeen, all areas of that county. Melting snow and rain rushing into people's homes as well. Several Grays Harbor rivers are still rising and expected to spill over with some flooding going into the weekend. Local public works departments monitoring the Chehalis River. They're expecting it to flood in Grand Mound. That could cause issues downstream in Hoquiam. We know know it's sort of this cascading effect. Officers, again, reminding people that if you come across any water across the roadway, do not attempt to drive through it because you don't know exactly how deep it is, even if it's a road that you have driven many times day in and day out. If you get into water that's too swift or too deep, then you certainly could end up getting trapped in your car, then putting first responders in a position that they have to come get you. So the rain is still coming down, and we're going to be watching it very closely in the coming days because even once the rain stops, we're still going to be watching hillsides like this one here to make sure they're not going to continue to fall.
Heavy rain and flooding are the big concerns down in the lowlands. Evacuation orders went out to people in the Skokomish River Valley in Mason County as the river there keeps rising. The Skokomish is expected to get as high as 17.5 feet. And then in Thurston County, emergency officials warn about flooding on the Chehalis, the Deschutes, and the Skookumchuck rivers with major flooding forecasts for the Skookumchuck.
Hey everybody, I'm Eric Johnson from KOMO News. Thanks for checking out the KOMO YouTube channel. You can see more of our videos right here by clicking on the video links for more news from the Seattle area and all of Western Washington. And don't forget to click the subscribe button below